Your mission is simpler than it seems. Part 2, Love as the Path. The ongoing mission. To love is a process, not a destination. Have you ever stopped to think that loving is not a destination, but a path that renews itself with every breath? We often treat love as if it were a final achievement, a perfect state that, once reached, would last forever. But the truth is that loving is a continuous process, a daily choice that manifests in every gesture, in every thought, in every moment of presence. The mission to love does not end when we find someone special or when we reach a certain level of self-knowledge. It transforms, evolves, and adapts to life's circumstances. Each day offers us new opportunities to love more deeply, to love more consciously, to love without fear. This is the beauty of the path of love. It never runs out. Just as the seasons renew themselves, our capacity to love also renews itself. The challenge is not to arrive at love, but to remain in it, even in the face of difficulties, even when everything seems to go wrong. The awakening of affective consciousness. To love truly, we need to awaken our affective consciousness. This means developing the ability to discern when we are truly loving and when we are merely repeating patterns learned throughout life. We often confuse attachment with love, possessiveness with affection, control with care. True love awakens when we begin to perceive the difference between conscious connection and emotional dependency. In conscious connection, there is freedom to be who you are, without fear of judgment. In emotional dependency, there is fear of loss, a need for control, and constant insecurity. This affective awakening also helps us to trust when we are loving with authentic vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness, but the courage to show your true self, to allow the other to see our flaws, fears, and insecurities. It is in this space of transparency that true love flourishes. Revisiting the elements, a practical, deepening earth, physical and spiritual nourishment. When we talk about caring for the body as a temple, we go beyond healthy eating and physical exercise. Physical and spiritual nourishment involves a conscious relationship with everything we ingest: food, thoughts, emotions, and information. Our body is the first field for the manifestation of love. When we care for it tenderly, we are affirming our own worth. When we neglect it, we are denying ourselves the right to be whole. Love for the earth element manifests in small daily attitudes: drinking water consciously, moving the body with pleasure, resting when necessary. Water. Grief, emotional healing, and release. Emotions are like rivers flowing through our existence. Sometimes they are smooth and calm, other times turbulent and powerful. The secret is not to control this flow, but to learn to navigate it with wisdom. Grief is a natural part of this process. Crying is not a sign of weakness, but of courage to feel deeply. When we repress our tears, we also repress our capacity for healing. Every frozen emotion is a part of us that needs to be warmed by the heat of conscious attention. Healing happens when we allow our inner waters to flow freely, carrying away painful memories and opening space for new possibilities of emotional love. Fire, transforming anger into purpose. Anger is often misunderstood. It is not an enemy of love, but a potential ally. When channeled correctly, anger can transform into creative energy, into strength to change realities, into courage to confront injustices. The fire of life needs to be fed, not suffocated. When we feel anger, we are invited to examine what needs to be transformed in our lives. This vital energy can be directed to create, build, protect, and defend what is true and authentic in us. Transforming anger into purpose is one of the greatest acts of love we can practice. It is saying yes to life, even in the face of difficulties, and using our energy to contribute to the common good. Air, creative thinking and mental liberation. The air element represents our capacity to think freely, to question, to imagine possibilities beyond what we already know. Creative thinking is that which opens doors, which sees solutions where there were only problems before. Often our mind gets stuck in limiting patterns inherited from society, family, or culture. These beliefs create a fog that prevents us from seeing clearly. The air element invites us to dissipate this fog through conscious questioning. Liberating the mind does not mean rejecting everything we have learned, but critically examining our convictions and deliberately choosing those that are useful for our growth and well-being. Ether, final integration and pure love. The ether is the element that unites all others, creating harmony between body, emotions, thoughts, and spirit. It is in this space of integration that pure love manifests, that love which needs no proof, demands nothing in return, and simply is. The final integration happens when we manage to harmonize all aspects of our existence. When the body is at peace, emotions flow freely, the fire of passion is channeled with wisdom, and the mind thinks with clarity. A state of grace arises where love can flourish naturally. Love as a daily attitude. To love is not just a fleeting feeling, but a consistent attitude towards life. It is choosing to see the divine in the other, even when they are irritated. It is choosing to forgive, not out of weakness, but out of inner strength. It is choosing to act with compassion, even when no one is watching. This daily attitude of love manifests in small actions, listening attentively, speaking kindly, acting with understanding. It is not about being perfect, but about being human with consciousness. True love also knows how to say no when necessary. Establishing healthy boundaries is a form of self-love and also love for the other. When we respect ourselves, we teach others to respect us as well. Ego versus soul. Recognizing the inner voice. Within each of us, there are two voices, that of the ego and that of the soul. The ego seeks external approval, material security, and social recognition. It lives in fear of exclusion, lack, and insignificance. The soul, on the other hand, seeks expansion, connection, and meaning. The soul's voice is soft but firm. It does not shout, but whispers. It does not demand, but invites. It does not promise security, but offers peace. Recognizing the difference between these two voices is fundamental to walking in true love. Often, the ego disguises itself as protection, saying it's better not to risk, not to expose oneself, not to love deeply. But the soul knows that the greatest risk is not to live on the surface of existence without touching the heart of life. Self-love as the foundation of every healthy relationship. We cannot give what we do not have. This is a simple truth, but one that is often ignored. If we do not love ourselves, how can we truly love another? If we do not accept ourselves, how can we accept others? Self-love is not narcissism, nor egocentrism. It is the recognition of our inherent value as human beings. It is accepting our flaws without destroying ourselves over them. It is celebrating our achievements without becoming arrogant. Cultivating self-love is a revolutionary act in a society that often teaches us to criticize, compare, and diminish ourselves. To love oneself is to say, I am enough exactly as I am in this moment. The role of silence and presence. In an increasingly fast-paced world, silence becomes a precious refuge. It is in silence that we can hear the soul's voice, feel the heart beating, and perceive the breath flowing. It is in silence that we find the center of peace that has always been within us. presence is the most valuable gift we can offer to ourselves and others. To be present means to be here and now, without escaping to the past or yearning for the future. It is in presence that true love manifests. Silence and presence do not need to be sought in distant places or through complicated practices. They can be found in any moment, while breathing consciously, while observing a flower, while embracing a loved one. Love in action, serving without losing yourself. Serving others is one of the most beautiful expressions of love, but conscious service also means taking care of ourselves. We cannot exhaust our energy helping others if we don't have enough energy to care for ourselves. Conscious service begins with self-knowledge. When we know who we are, what moves us, and what our limits are, we can offer our best to others without losing ourselves in the process. To love in action is to be available to help, but also to have the courage to say no when necessary. It is offering support without taking responsibility for others' lives. It is sharing light without extinguishing yourself in the process. Final spiritual message: love as the one true path. At the heart of every spiritual journey is love. Not the romantic love idealized by movies, nor the possessive love that tries to control, but the true love that liberates, heals, and transforms. This love needs no intermediaries, complicated rituals, or external proofs. It manifests in the simplicity of a smile, the generosity of a gesture, the patience of attentive listening. The path of love is the simplest and at the same time the most challenging. It is simple because it is always available, always present. It is challenging because it requires courage to be vulnerable, honesty to look in the mirror, and humility to ask for forgiveness. But it is on this path that we find our true mission: to love deeply, without reservations, without fear, without conditions. Because in the end, all that really matters is the love we have shown, the connections we have cultivated, and the light we have shared. Remember, your mission is not in some distant place waiting to be found. It is here, now, in the heart beating inside you, ready to love, ready to shine, ready to transform the world, one loving gesture at a time. For those who have made it this far, don't forget to share this message with someone who needs to hear about the transformative power of true love. And if you feel inspired, leave in the comments how this reflection touched your hearts. So what did you think? Did you connect with any part of this mission? The journey of love is the most important one we'll ever take, but it's not one we have to do alone. This is exactly what the community here is for: to share, support, and grow together. And that's why I have a challenge and an invitation for you. Challenge of the week. What was your gesture of conscious love today? It could have been a loving no, a moment of silence you gave yourself, or a genuine compliment you gave someone. Tell me in the comments which element, earth, water, fire, air, ether, you feel you need to work on more this week. Your experience could be the light someone else needs to get started. Share the mission. If this video resonated with you and made you feel good, share it with someone you think needs to hear this message today. Sometimes a simple gesture can completely change someone's day. Stay tuned. If you believe that love is a path of practice and not just theory, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the continuation of this series. In the next videos, we'll delve into specific practices for each of these elements. This isn't a message from me to you. It's a message from your own soul, reminding you of your power and your simplest, most beautiful mission. Remember, the world needs your specific love, your unique light, one gesture at a time. Cheers to the journey. See you in the comments.